Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, along with, of course, head coach Scott Langer. Coach, a strong weekend there in Austin, a long weekend, actually, but a 6-5 win on Friday night. You guys had a 6-3 lead at one point. They would not go away, but yet you guys found a way to secure that victory. And on the road, like we've talked about several times, they don't have to be pretty. They just got to, you put them in the win column, that's a good thing, obviously. What did you guys see, when I talked to you a little bit Saturday prior to the game about Friday's matchup? What did you guys see from Friday that you liked and didn't like?
Well, I think the one big thing is, they got out in front, we answered. They got one again, and we answered again going in there into the second period, and our second period's been pretty good. So we had a really good second period, which gave us some pretty good confidence heading into the third. Kind of a weird third period. I mean, they ended up having a 6-on-4 power play, which they ended up, scoring on, gained some momentum, but Diable was really strong in net again and gave us that opportunity to win the game.
Well, we've talked about this, there seems like there's several times, and I feel like I say this all the time during broadcasts too, that the Wings have had some strong second periods throughout this season. Why is that? What do you attribute that to? Or is it something that you really can't put your finger on? What is it about the second period that seems like it's been a strong portion of the game, as you strive towards consistency and putting a 60-minute game together? That second period often seems like it's a good one.
I think that's tough to say. I mean, I think you got to give it to the leadership group in the locker room, after that first period. I mean, it could be some of the adjustments that are able to be made during the period break, but it just so happens to be that's been your second period is a huge period if you're going to win a hockey game, yeah. And we've been fortunate enough to have some pretty good second periods, but not always easy to put a finger on exactly why one period is better than another, but it's been a good one.
So we move on to Saturday. And Saturday just almost not a polar opposite, but you guys, you didn't have to chase anything. You get out front and started to score often and early, and the power play killing it. I mean, when you go 4 of 4, 100% on a power play, that's pretty impressive. I can't say that I recall a time where somebody got 4 power play opportunities and they scored on every single one of them. And one of them actually scored twice, one of which was waved off, but then you end up scoring again. Saturday, were there adjustments made, or was it just, how did you tilt the ice the way that you did?
Well, we made some adjustments going into the weekend that we thought we needed to make. It was a little bit stale. We were getting opportunities. We just weren't clicking. So we made a few adjustments. But, those guys, we challenged them a little bit. They accepted the challenge. And obviously on Saturday, everything we touched went to the back of the net. And we haven't had too many of those. Which it feels good to be able to do that. But our guys, they got the message. We went over it on video. They reacted to it, and they had a little fun with it. So, but yeah, I mean, specialty teams were a huge part of that game on Saturday as well.
Yeah, and staying out of the box was a big thing. You wanted to talk. You mentioned that on Friday night. Maybe wasn't as successful on Friday night as you were on Saturday, as far as that goes, giving them opportunities or chances. But the kill was strong. Was pretty darn strong too. They did end up with a couple, but again, I mentioned this, I think, Saturday night, where you had said 3 weeks ago, where it was you'd scored 1 goal in 6 periods of play, and then now you score 11 in a weekend. What is working? What is the difference? Can you again? Is it one of those things that you can't really say exactly why the puck is bouncing your way, or how are you able to put these these points up?
Well, I mean, you go through the mental side of the game where, when you're not scoring, you're gripping your stick, things are really hard to come by, and then, you have a couple good outings where pucks are finding the back of the net, and then it builds some confidence within each player. So, we're getting some scoring up and down our lineup, which is nice, but it's a crazy, sports in general is a crazy game. I mean, whether it's baseball and you're not hitting the ball, and when you are hitting the ball, you're killing it, and it goes for hockey as well. But yeah, I mean, we have the capability of scoring. We know that we've been able to score all year until we had that brief time there where we just couldn't put it in the ocean. So, but our guys do work hard each week, and when we are going through our preparation, they are focused on scoring goals in practice. So we have some guys that are really good at it, and hopefully from our standpoint it keeps rolling.
Yeah, well, no kidding. It's a lot of fun for sure to see those goals scored, and you're seeing it from the blue line. You're seeing it from different groups, different guys throughout the lineup too. So a lot of good stuff over the weekend. Again, on the road to sweep like that, not an easy thing to do. So fantastic. Well, like I said, a turn of events, I guess, or whatever, or turnout with the Bruins there, and they're a good hockey team for sure. So, that's a good test coming into this weekend, and we have Minot coming up. And Minot has been rolling. They got beat by St. Cloud. They answered on Saturday night, but their streak and everything has been broken there, and they're at the top of the division right now. Of course, we'll go through those standings in just a bit. But the Wings, jumped from 5th to 3rd, which is a huge weekend. There's a lot of hockey to play in this season, of course, still, but it's a nice testament to what the Wings can do, and again, against a good hockey team like the Austin Bruins. You have Minot coming up, who you've seen this team. You know what they're capable of, and they've been rolling. What have you got to do against Minot?
Well, I mean, I've said it before. Cody put a really good product on the ice this year. He did a really good job recruiting. He's got some pretty good veterans over there. He did a good job picking up a guy that does really well in the net, and they play with a lot of confidence right now. We tend to play them pretty tight. Mm-hmm. We just have, and we kind of get up for Minot, but I'm sure some people are looking at it, like the David and Goliath type scenario, but our guys are playing good hockey. We're going to go after them, and we're going to lay it out there and see how it falls. But the way we look at it is we're not done climbing. We have quite a few games left, and we want to continue to climb and to win hockey games. And Minot's a team that we know that if we're fortunate enough to find a playoff spot, that we may face them. So we got to play good hockey against them, and let's see how good we are playing right now. They are the top team in the league, so no better time to play than now.
Well, that's a very good point, especially as you come off of a road sweep like you do, and then you face a team like this. You're building that confidence and working more and more towards consistency, which seems like a common theme and something that I feel like I've talked about a lot, but it is something that's difficult to achieve. But a great test coming up here, and we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. But the standings again, you go from 5th to 3rd. Like we talked about, a lot of hockey still to be played, but a strong weekend, Coach. And I won't keep you any longer, but I appreciate you taking some time, as I always do, for you to share your thoughts and insight a little bit about what what you saw from the weekend, and and what we're looking forward to coming up. And there's a big homestand kind of coming up here at the ODI Center. So, Coach, thank you so much for joining us again, as you often do or usually do. And congratulations on a weekend sweep on the road, which, like I said before, is never easy to do.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, folks, we'll return with the second portion of Wings Weekly coming up after this.
City Lights Bar and Event Center is your official home for the Aberdeen Wings. Stop down for an ice-cold beer or drink and choose from one of the many excellent food options on their menu, available for both lunch and dinner. And when your Aberdeen Wings are on the road trying to earn their way back to the Robertson Cup Championship, come on down to City Lights and watch the away games as the audio and video are streamed live. City Lights Bar and Event Center, the official home for the Aberdeen Wings on South 2nd Street, just south of the overpass in Aberdeen.
All right, second portion of Wings Weekly continues on, and in this case, Anchorage, Alaska's own Drew Mackie is here, and we thank you so much for taking some time to join us. I haven't had a chance to really catch up with you here this year so far, but I try to catch all the guys at different times and get a little bit of a background and a little bit of insight and some goofy questions and added into the mix here too. One of the first things I've got to talk about, is obviously you had a little insight to the Aberdeen Wings and to Coach Langer and to the community and everything with your brother having been a captain here.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different. I can't say that in all the years I've done this that I've ever known that there's ever been a older brother, younger brother kind of situation where there are years apart and so on. So tell us a little bit about what your thoughts were about coming to the Aberdeen Wings and how maybe how that affected your decision, or how your path maybe changed a little bit to come to the Wings because of that.
Yeah, so when my brother Gage was here, I was able to take a couple trips to Aberdeen and watch him play, and so had that memory being here, and he's told me all about it and about Coach Langer and about the town and the fans and everything. And so when plans kind of changed at the beginning of the year and I was deciding where to go, it was kind of a no-brainer for me to come here and to kind of experience that as well.
You probably don't remember this, but I actually met you many years ago at Richfield, Minnesota, as you and your dad were there watching Gage play, and Gage had, you and he came on the bus. This was in the fall, because I remember the door was open on the bus, and it was like a nice, it was like September, October kind of thing, and you were along with, and you guys came on the bus and talked with Coach Langer, and I was sitting in there and met you guys, and your dad has been such a nice guy and been so involved and so on too. Do you remember that, just hypothetically speaking? Do you remember watching Gage play and going to any of his games or anything?
I do remember going to watch him play. We watched him play on the road a couple times, and then here I think once or twice. So I do remember that. I don't remember hopping on the bus though.
You were just a little shaver. you were young then, but great guy, and it's awesome to have that shoulder to lean on, so to speak, when it comes to a lot of things, no doubt. Clearly, he probably helped you, get going in hockey. I always ask people about, how they got started and so on. But when you have a resource like your brother that we know as a captain who's got a plaque on the wall out there, and so on, I would imagine that that was a big influence, or in some cases maybe people do go another direction and play a different sport or whatever. But what was it that you got that inspired you and built your love for the sport?
Yeah, I was always chasing both of my brothers around as a kid, and we had a rink at home, and so I'd always chase them around on the ice and just kind of wanted to do what they were always doing. So yeah, it was kind of a no-brainer for me to start playing hockey, and I've just kind of been following in their footsteps ever since.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about your college commit too. Where did how did that all come about? Where were you looking, and did you get other offers? How did that all come down to a decision where you decided where you wanted to play following your juniors?
Yeah, so I wanted to go to a school that's a good combination of academics and a good hockey experience as well. I talked to a few other schools, had a couple of other offers, but I thought the University of Notre Dame was best fit for me because it's a great hockey experience. They have a great program, outstanding coaches, and it's a pretty prestigious school as well. And so So it was a good decision for me.
Yeah, for sure. Prestigious indeed. Aaron Smith, Aberdeen Wings president, big fan of Notre Dame, so I'm sure he's happy about that. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about this locker room right now. You know, I just talked with Coach a little bit about a sweep on the road. That's not never easy. When you're on the road, it's even more difficult. It feels like when you're in somebody else's building and so on. But you guys come through with some big, some big scoring nights when you put 11 goals on the scoreboard over the course of the weekend. And you guys from the blue line have been able to come up, big offensively. Many of you, adding to those point totals. What's been working for you guys? What do you feel like went well this weekend?
I think just as a team, we're starting to put 3 periods together really well. Obviously, every game is going to have some ups and downs, but I think that we're managing those really well. And
kind of like bouncing back, kind of, that kind of thing, as far as managed. Okay.
Yeah, if we'll take a penalty, but our kill's been great. We'll kill it off and get our team some momentum. Our power play's been great. And just overall, I think as a team, we've been buying into our whole system and what Coach Langers was teaching us, and so I think that's been helping us a lot, and I think we've grown a lot as a group.
Yeah, and that's a funny thing, because as the season goes along, it's not an easy thing to. There are those ups and downs, and there's plateaus, and there's there's growth, and a young team, a team that's growing together. I feel like as the season goes along, there's a lot of opportunity for like you said, for growth, versus a team that's laden with veterans. And maybe have played together and so on. There's a lot of opportunity there. You've got Minot coming up. Now we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, but before we get to that, I got a couple of goofy questions for you. Well, first of all, what do you like to do when you're not in the rink? When you're not at the building, working out, or you're not on the ice, or going through meetings, or whatever else in your life kind of revolves around hockey, obviously. But what do you like to do? Are you an outdoorsman at all? Are you a gamer? Are you a poker player? A card guy? What do you like to do?
Well, at home in Alaska, I like to fish and hike a lot and be outdoors as much as I can, so that's always fun. But here, I play a decent amount of video games and read, and just big personal space guy, so I just like to just chill and just relax when I'm not at the rink.
So you're not out hiking the hills and mountains of Aberdeen?
No, not so much.
All right, so okay, what's your favorite book? You said you like to read. What book is your number one? Like, wow, I've read that 3-4 times and I could read it again. I love it.
I actually just finished Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I really like that one.
Yeah? Okay. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so I always ask guys this about meals and foods and stuff. Being from Alaska, I imagine anyway that you have access to a lot of like salmon and fresh seafood and so on. What would your go-to meal be? What would it be if you could have one and just build everything, all of your favorites? What are your favorites going to be?
Right off the bat, it's got to be salmon. We eat a lot of salmon at home.
Yeah.
Have it all different kinds of ways. My mom and my dad make it. My mom makes a killer teriyaki salmon bowl. It's like my favorite food. But yeah, baked, fried, all that, grilled. It's got to be salmon.
Somehow I'm not surprised by that. It just seems like it fits, Let's see. How about if you had a decision, or not a decision, but a choice of being somebody that's completely in charge of absolutely everything, and had all the responsibility of absolutely everything, or could just follow along and just have no worries, everything taken care of you, or everything taken care of for you, I should say, which would you rather have?
That's a tough one. I'd probably like to be in control of everything. I think that'd be pretty cool.
See, I probably should just quit asking that question, because you're all alpha males. Like, you're all, you know what I mean? Like, you're all guys that are going, not a one of you is going to be like, oh, I just want to follow along. Oh, I just want to do what I'm told. You all want to be leaders and be out there, battling and stuff. Okay, so if anybody in this locker room right now, if you had $100,000 in cash in a bag, all right, and I'm looking around at these nameplates and stuff, who is it that you're going to trust with it? Who's going to be the one that won't take a single dollar out of it, and that they're going to guard it with their life and make sure it gets back to you? Who do you trust the most?
It's got to be my D partner, Nick Comfort. I'd trust that guy with pretty much anything.
I can't even argue that. I can't even joke about that. I can't even, because he's such a nice guy. I can totally see that. All right, well, we've got Minot coming up, back at home after, it feels like just there's been so many road games this year, it seems like. But back at home, what does it mean to you, to play at the ODI Center in front of all this, these fans, and to be able to be in your locker room, at your space, and to be able to step out on that ice here at the OD, versus having to get off the bus and go play in somebody else's barn? How big is that?
Yeah, it's huge, especially with these fans that we got. Through the downs in the season, they've been showing up every night, so it's good to be able to have some success and to be successful in our own building for them. And yeah, obviously it's nice, a lot better to sleep in your own bed and go through your own routine at home before showing up instead of being on the bus and at the hotel. But so yeah, being at the home ice is definitely big. Well,
you mentioned it, so you brought it up. I'm going to ask you about your routine. What's your game day routine? Is there something that you feel like you have to do? Do you have any superstitions? Are there things that you just kind of automatically go through, especially when you're at home and you have those opportunities? What's a game day look like?
Nothing too special. I usually go through the same stretch routine before the game and drink a lot of water that day, and usually try to have some pasta or something that afternoon. But I'm not too superstitious, so nothing too crazy.
So it just popped into my head. Do you get sick of, I love pasta, and I eat with the team usually on the road and stuff like that, but after a while I just get seriously, chicken and pasta again? I'm just so, get burned out on it. Do you guys ever feel that way, or are you just more like a machine that just knows that is what your body needs to perform at its highest? Or do you ever get can we do something different? How do you feel about that? Because you mentioned pasta, in your pregame meal.
Yeah, when we're having it for almost every meal on the road, it's hard to love it every single time. But so I try not to have it during the week very much. But yeah, it does definitely get tired of it.
And I don't burn it off like you guys do. So I'm always like, oh man, pasta again. Can I just get a salad, please, or something? But yeah, no, but obviously there's a reason for it, and you guys know that as athletes. It's a carb, the carb and protein kind of, what that does for your body. Okay, again, we started to talk about this a little bit ago about, your weekend obviously sweep against Austin, and you're jumping from 5th to 3rd. Now, here you are, looking at the number 1 team in the division, Minot. They are strong. They are, they skate well. They've got good goaltending. They've got a lot of things going for them. But like Coach said, this is a team that you guys have played well against over the course of this season. Well, really, few seasons, but obviously this is a different team. What do you feel like as a group you've got to do to be successful? What are some keys?
Well, obviously they're a successful team. They got a lot of skill. They're pretty old. They play well together. But I think ultimately we just have to focus on ourselves and focus on the fact that we've been playing really well and we've been starting to put it together as a group. And so I think as a group we don't need to focus on who it is that we're playing as much. I think we need to focus on us and what we're good at and what makes us successful. And I think that's going to translate this weekend as well.
Well, that's a great answer. A great answer, because that is, I feel like week in and week out, I ask these, a lot of these questions, and a lot of these answers are the same, but the reality is that it is different every single time. And I think it's great of you to say, you don't worry about who you're playing, you've got to worry about what you do and what you're accountable for. Right. So that's awesome. Great answer there. All right, well, as we talked about just a moment ago, this weekend against Minot, corporate sponsor is Northern Plains Animal Health. Aberdeen Cougar Termites will skate first intermission. New Year, New You night. Show your YMCA membership card and receive $5 admission at the door. Saturday, January 20th, corporate game sponsor is the Moose Lodge. Aberdeen Hockey Mites will skate first intermission. Family pack night, $12. To include concession stand voucher, call Aaron at 605-380-5852 for details. Back at the Odie the following weekend, January 26th and 27th, to host the North Iowa Bulls, who the Wings are going to face quite a bit here towards the end of the season. Sponsorships and reserve season tickets are available for the remainder of the 2023-2024 season. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 for more information. For all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit AberdeenWings.com or follow us on Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever, and on Instagram and YouTube, of course, where you can see these videos as well. All right, well, I won't keep you here any longer. I appreciate you taking some time, like I always say to Coach, and all you guys. I know you've got a lot of stuff going on and busy schedules, but we appreciate you letting everyone get to know you a little bit. Drew Mackie, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet, and good luck against Minot.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that'll wrap up this show and this week's Wings Weekly.